and welcome to the ShowRatings.tv Pilot Roundtable, a Southgate Media Group podcast. I'm Olivia Richards.
And I'm Kyle Tremblay.
And we're from ShowRatings.tv, where you can rate and review all your favorite TV shows, including the new series we're talking about today,
The McCarthys.
All right. According to the CBS website, The McCarthys is a multi-camera comedy about a close-knit, sports-crazed Boston family whose somewhat athletically challenged son, Ronnie, is chosen by his father, he is not a father, to be his assistant high school basketball coach, much to the surprise of his more qualified siblings. Ronnie wants nothing more than to move away, join the single scene, and find a partner. All right, what did you think about the show?
Well, you read that whole description, and and that confusing description. And the only
CBS longer.
Yeah, come on, CBS. The only two words that really mattered in that description are Boston and sports. Because this is a show here's what I imagine the ideal viewer of the McCarthys is. And Olivia, you tell me if you fit this category. The number one thing you love in life is sports. And the number two thing is Boston accents. That's where we're at. So I'm not in the demo, although I guess I like sports, but I imagine you aren't either.
I was going to say, I'm a suburban white girl who hates sports. So I really think I'm kind of like on the outlier.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe you love Boston accents?
Maybe that was my saving grace. I have yet to decide.
I don't know. This was weird to me. It's just weird and old-timey, but not like in a pleasantly nostalgic way, right? Like, it's just like, it felt like a comedy from the 90s, but not a good one, like not a hit comedy. Like, it felt like something that would have like lasted 2 seasons in the 90s and then been canceled.
I think 2 seasons is kind of generous.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm thinking of the 90s as like the land of milk and honey, where every show lasted 5 seasons. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It had more of like a domestic comedy feel to it than it did really like a situational comedy feel.
Sure.
Because like it does take place around the family. It's just I didn't feel like there was a lot of cohesion in it. Like, again, like I just read the description and just watching the show, I'm like, it was a lot of things at once. I think if they had tightened it up and made it more about one thing and kind of chosen a direction, it would have been good. It just was kind of a watercolor of things happening.
Yeah, and one of the things was what I would call the central character is gay, and obviously, as happens, that comes into conflict, although not violent conflict, I guess, but into some conflict with his family, his very traditional Boston family, which seems like a minefield. How did you think the show navigated being built around a homosexual character?
At some parts, I was kind of like a fan of it because I felt like they made the family like understanding and like, you know, they did crack a few gay jokes and blah blah, but like that scene where they have the gay party for him, like where they want to match him up with someone, I was just like rolling my eyes and I was like no.
Yeah. That I got to point out something about that scene, which is something we've commented on in like 5 pilot roundtables so far, which is the tubby bearded character who he actually made an appearance here. He was brought to the party by the guy's mom as a nurse, and I was like, oh hey, it's tubby bearded guy from every sitcom this season. So
I think you can just look at the credit list, and that's exactly how he's credited.
Tubby bearded guy. But what was so upsetting is that guy was introduced as being gay, but then he quickly says, oh, I'm not gay. And it's like, you know, I know it's a multicam and it's on CBS, so of course it's going to traffic in stereotypes. But why couldn't he have been gay? Would it have been that bad to have the tubby, bearded, straight-looking, quote-unquote, character actually be gay? Like, would that have been such a scandal for CBS? Like, why did they have to undermine the one, like, piece of interesting work they could have done on the topic?
No, it's so true. And then, like, it was that fact, and then like the fact that they had the other like really really flamboyant gay guy who's from the Catholic Church, and that joke, I was just like, oh no, where he's like, well, I'm not a practicing gay because in my religion I can be gay, I just can't act on it. I'm like, am I just just drunk all the time when I'm watching these shows because I feel like it's 2014 pushing into 2015 and we still don't have a working knowledge in society that we really want to show on television of how a diverse population works. Like it
Yeah.
really like are we really so sensitive to our ideologies in our society that we can't properly show how the real world actually works to some extent. Like I just it kind of baffles me a little bit.
Yeah, and it just it's weird. Like everyone in his family loves sports except the gay guy, and every it's like the show is so playing to stereotypes as opposed to subverting them in any way, and it would have just been interesting if they had done a little bit more to integrate that character and make it and to not have the guy at the quote unquote gay bar be so flamboyant and to I mean, I guess the main character is likable enough, but just to make him like not an outcast or just I don't know, the show had nothing interesting to say on the topic for me, which is a shame because you would think like it was a great opportunity to say something interesting. And so we were just left with the jokes, which again were like stale 90s sitcom jokes. So, I don't know, I didn't see a lot here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just, again, like, I couldn't decide what the show wanted to be because, like, we have the domestic aspect where, like, it's the family sitting around and kind of just talking and watching sports, which was kind of what was happening with Christella
Mm-hmm.
when we were watching that because we had noticed that too. But then it's like they have the situation that happens when they go to the wake. And then they have, like, the sister who's pregnant, so that's a joke. And then there's Gay, which is apparently a joke, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of things happening, and I just wish it was like a little bit more cohesive as a show and didn't fall back on stereotypes to kind of pull out its punchlines.
Mm-hmm. It was weird. A lot of this pilot was about death, which was weird. It's like just I don't know. Like it seems strange that in the first act of your 20-minute sitcom pilot to kill someone. I don't know. Like a quarter of this episode takes place at a wake. Like it just seemed kind of dark to me. I don't know, a little bit macabre.
And then it gets worse because the dead guy is the sister's or yeah, the father of the sister's baby. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? No.
Was his name? I'm seriously asking this. Was his name Fatty McFatterson? Was that his name?
Yeah, or McFadden, I think something like that.
Fatty McFadden. That's right.
That's not better.
I mean, really? Like, I don't know. It's. I just don't know. I don't know why anyone would watch this show. I guess is my ultimate problem with it.
Honestly, the only saving grace, and that was going to be my next question, was Laurie Metcalf, because I thought she did a really good job. Like, what did you think of her on the show? Because I thought she was kind of the saving grace.
I thought her dialogue was smarter than the other characters' dialogue. At the same time, I have like a tolerance for one Kira joke. Like you can reference the closer once. The second time is a yellow card, and the third time is a red card for me. Like that's it, you're off the pitch. Like I shouldn't make soccer metaphors because the show clearly doesn't care about soccer because they're a Boston family. So I should come up with a football metaphor. But yeah, I mean like I didn't like the runner and like. She watches The Good Wife, and of course her gay son watches The Good Wife, and again, it's like, oh, it's all stereotypes, and I do think she was probably the best element of this pilot, I'll say that.
All right, so for me, I feel like Laurie just did a very good job. I think her delivery was really solid, kind of with the material that she was given, because again, like as an actor, you're kind of only as good as the script that you're performing. Like you need to have the solid writing. But yeah, I kind of wasn't super connected to the other characters in the way that I was, and I think it was really sold by her performance in this. I just again like I wish that the writing was tighter and that it didn't fall back on just these really like boring and stupid stereotypes that we keep seeing in basically every sitcom we previewed this season.
Yes. Yeah. The sitcoms this season have been bad. I think this is the last one in the fall that's premiering, as far as I can tell. It's been rough, hasn't it?
Really rough. It's been bad.
Yeah, I don't know. This isn't the worst of them. I don't think this show is smart enough to be offensive. So I guess that's a plus.
You know it's bad when that's the only like positive thing you have to say about something, because
Yeah.
the scale so far has been like mildly cringy, ranging all the way up to like a war crime against humanity.
Speaking of which, and turning our sights on a more pleasant subject, Manhattan Love Story is canceled,
Yes,
which is like a Halloween gift to you and I.
trick or treat. You don't ever have to see this ever again.
Trick or treat, you're canceled. Yeah. We will be watching, though, our shows that have not been canceled, which so far is every show except Manhattan Love Story. Seems fitting.
You know what? I will take it.
Yeah. We're going to start going through them, and what I think we're going to call, I don't know what we're going to call it. We'll come up with a name next week.
Figure something out.
Yeah. We're going to revisit the pilots we've talked about, since pilot season is now slowing down, and see if the shows have gotten any better. So we're going to watch Selfie next week and maybe a couple others and talk about it on the roundtable.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So I guess my final question would be, would you give this show a thumbs up or a thumbs down, ultimately?
Oh, this is an easy thumbs down.
Yeah. I wanted to be nice and maybe say, like, one hand thumbs up and one hand thumbs down, but I don't see this going past, like, a season max.
This, judging by the ratings last night, which were not good, and judging by, like, just it's so dead. Like, I don't know what this show is going to say, and I just think this is going to last like 10 episodes and be gone.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, so on that dismal note,
as most of our pilot roundtables end.
Oh, I know, it's bad. All right, so that concludes this episode of the ShowRatings.tv Pilot Roundtable. We invite you to check out this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts at southgatemediagroup.com, and to read about, rate, and discuss all your favorite shows at ShowRatings.tv. You can follow me on Twitter at RichardsOlivia, Kyle at KyleLovesTV, and Show Ratings at ShowRatingsTV. Until next time, thanks for listening.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.